I know it's morning there, so yeah, I know it's morning there, so this would be recorded. If you want to have a copy of the slides, we will also be sharing it with you. Again, feel free to ask questions and engage as we go through the discussion. Let me just share my screen. Can you see it? Can you see my screen right now?
We can,
Yes.
Okay,
yes,
got it.
yes.
All right. So our masterclass for today is about digital marketing tools and brand identity lab. So this will just be an hour, 1 hour of masterclass. So I think it's, you know, feel free to engage. So as I've mentioned, together with me is my co-founder for IM Consulting, Miss Marj Vistro. And we do have a co-founder as well, is not currently here. So that's it in my end. Miss Marsh, you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, hello. Good afternoon. Good morning. Good afternoon. Good evening to all of you. I'm currently the Chief Operating Officer for IM Consulting. So I have an extensive experience in aviation industry. So for 19 years of experience, and for I am consulting. I'm together with my co-founder will be Añora. We are like developing product plans, strategies, and proposals specifically for aviation and logistic clients. And we also have some startup partners to to also achieve our mission of decarbonizing aviation and logistic industry. So we also have partners in terms of agriculture and other startups with innovation in terms of decarbonization. And my previous experience in terms in the aviation industry, I'm the lead project management office head for quite a long year, like maybe 7 to 11 years as a project management office lead. So yeah, that's it for my end. So I welcome to all of you in this class.
Yeah. So Miss March mentioned about project management. And so there would be another master class which we will be sharing to you that's about project management. But right now, let's do marketing. So we'll take over instead of Joyce here because she's currently not here. But yeah, let's start. So we're designing this master class for global South entrepreneurs from those in Southeast Asia like us because we're from the Philippines and also in Africa because they have a different context as compared to those that are based in Europe or in America. Okay, so just a few house rules, so that it would be easier for us to, identify you or ask a question. Kindly rename your Zoom name if you can with your name and also dash your organization. If you have questions, feel free to unmute yourself, or raise your hand if you want. So we can address questions after each module because we have three sections so that we can manage our time. Okay? So any questions with the house rules? None? All right. So again, if you're a startup, if you're a social enterprise, if you're a social venture, if both because I also mentored as part of this cohort, like youth-led MSMEs, then feel this is for you essentially. So what it aims is that it provides you, with hopefully some tips to grow visibility and to be able to, help you with your growth as a social enterprise or as a startup, right? So now my question is, why do you think, branding matters in the global south? There are a few things that I put in here. For example, limited marketing budget, right? Well, for us in our case, if you're starting out, probably not really just in the global south, but any other for those that are starting out, you would not really focus on marketing at the beginning because you would focus on developing your product and then you will find ways to actually market your product in the most cost effective way possible, right? And another reason why it's important to do branding is because, especially in the global south, is because of the informal markets. So I don't know if it's the same context as you, but there's a lot of informal markets in Southeast Asia, meaning those that are live selling, right? And there's a high competition in it because in social media, um, like attention is the currency. So the more the people are hooked to your content, the more they engage with you, and the more chances that you will be able to sell to them. If your market is, um, B2C, like the individual customers. And another thing is that in these economies, in our economies, it's trust based. So if you don't trust someone, then perhaps, especially if it's a B2B, like corporate engagement, most often than not, it's difficult to actually do a business with them, right? And another thing is that, well, in the case in the for us in the Philippines, we're somehow a social media capital, so our consumers are mostly digital first. So anyone from Africa or Miss Marsh, if you want to add some thoughts around that, on why branding matters, especially in our context.
So nobody wants to share. So I'll start first. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
yes.
think branding really matters in our experience. Okay, Samuel, after me. Okay, so yeah, branding matters because especially for most of the startups, like our company also, really have a limited marketing budget. So instead of putting it all in the marketing, what we do is develop first our really our business model and work on it. And one of the because of that limited marketing budget, what we are doing is that more on attending events and conferences, and aside from that, we make it a point that um we find connections in those events, because it's not only just merely attending the conferences, but the take advantage of all your connections or network connections are there in the event, so that you
Yeah.
can actually coordinate with them, instead of just marketing in the social media. And especially our startup is not really just selling products. It's really more, it's a very serious topic now being talked about globally, which is decarbonization. So you really need to we don't rely on promoting our company in terms of social media, but we rely heavily on our network connections. If you would remember, I introduced myself with 19 years experience in aviation industry, so I'm using that for us to connect with our aviation and logistics client. And
Mhm.
also in terms of trust-based economies, I think this is very important to the clients. So it's really important that you establish your credibility before they trust you with a particular service. So that's why branding really matters on how you really sell yourself to the market. So
Okay.
yeah, I think that's it. Will be. I think
Yeah, thank you, Miss Marsh. I think somebody raised their hand a while ago.
yeah,
I
I
don't
think
know
it's
if
Samuel.
okay, Samuel, yes. If you just want to share a few words on this one, your thoughts in the context of in Africa. Samuel? Yeah, somebody raised
Okay.
their hand a while.
So,
Yes.
Yeah, there you
so
go.
Hello.
actually, I would say branding helps in the marketing positioning because
Mm-hmm.
eventually people would like to know or what you do and what you offer, your products and whatsoever. So with branding, it helps people to know you in the market space, and then you are well positioned because you become eventually better off if you have like a particular brand. But if you don't have, it becomes difficult for someone to know which one to opt for. So you find is that those films that are well branded, they'll eventually be able to find more customers. So briefly, I would just say that's what branding is at.
Mhm.
Totally agree, right? And also we'll learn more about brand identity, how you can, cement your brand with these elements, essentially, even with limited marketing budget. Because for a startup, resources are really limited, and we need to maximize what we can with the resources that are available. So, Samuel, you mentioned about, getting your company to be known through a brand. Essentially, that's brand identity. And what you must remember in terms of branding or brand in itself is it's not what you say to the audience. It's essentially the perception of the people around you to your brand. So for example, when you say Apple, it's your perception of Apple that is more of, let's say, for example, a bit probably high quality or high end, right? And for a brand to cement its place or, to the customers, they must be able to be equal. Your branding, meaning your the way you communicate what your brand is through your stores or through your social media posts or through your commercials, should be equal to what um the audience perceives it to be. Yes, Joseph, you want to share something? Okay, Joseph, you want to share something? Okay. Okay, if you're Joseph, you want to share something, or you can probably unmute yourself. Okay, thank you. All right. So perception again, as a brand, what you must do is to have controlled perception. So, for example, we do have a company here. They mentioned that they're the fastest internet provider, but oh well, I wouldn't mention names. But for example, based on the experience of their customers with their brand, with their company, they're not actually the fastest, and they do encounter some problems. So the customer's perception of your brand is what your brand is, not what you're telling. So this brand is telling that we are the fastest, we have good customer service, but it doesn't translate to the reality, So I guess as a brand, you're not gonna work on how you communicate or you market yourself. You most importantly should be able to reflect that on the product and services that you matter, because word of mouth is really essential, especially in our case, and if you're starting. So in a nutshell, I just want to tell you that again, your brand identity is not essentially just your logo. It's actually what the people repeat telling more about you when you're actually not in the room, because sometimes people will say, oh, you have a good brand because you're there, but or you have a good product or service, but once you're out, it's not exactly the reality. So anyone would like to, you know, or probably a bit later, you can share more about this. So what do you think is the perception of your customers in your product or service, which reflects what your brand is? So in terms of brand identity, there are a few elements that you must consider. Since most of you are in the social impact space, then one of these elements is a purpose. So you must be able to identify or know why you exist beyond, because every business needs to earn money, right? So beyond that, what are you as a company, and who exactly do you serve, right? And what do you promise? For example, let's say you are in the agri space, so you promise farmers that you let them increase their income because these are the services that you support. That's one thing. Or for I am consulting decarbonization, we promise companies that we can support them with reducing their emissions. So you must identify that your promise in a short or in a clear sentence what that promise is to your customers. And of course, you don't just promise. I mentioned a while ago that there's this company who they promise that they can provide the best service of internet, high speed internet connection. But then there's no proof because it's contrary to what they're doing. So you must have proof that makes you credible to be able to deliver that promise. And of course, there must be a personality to your brand, right? So your brand speaks of like professionalism, or usually for brands that are into B2C or like individual customers, that totally depends. For marketing agencies, they can be like a bit playful, right? So it totally depends upon your customers and audience. All right, so these are the components of a brand identity. You have the mission, visual identity, your voice, your value proposition, and your target audience clarity. So I'll share more about this as for by sharing some examples. So I've checked out this valuable and strongest African brands back in 2025, according to Brand Finance Africa, and one of your top or most valuable African brand is MTN. So let's take a look at MTN in terms of their brand identity. So they are a mobile telecommunications company. So their mission is to actually to enable, Africa's digital future, because they are a telecommunications company essentially. So as you can see in their brand identity, meaning in their logo or in their colors that it represents in their marketing materials, there's this bold yellow color. It's confident, it's African, their voice is empowering, they're approachable because, of course, their customers are individual customers, and they are aspirational in nature. So, their proposition is that they want to provide affordable connectivity and digital access. And their target audience are Africa that aspires to be digital or digital first. Okay. So any, comments on this for those who, because I'm not from Africa, so I can only view it from what I researched or I've checked in the internet. So do you agree with what MTN's value proposition is? So who has come across MTN?
I have come
Yes.
across MTN, and
Mm-hmm.
that's true.
Okay, that's good. So what they say they do actually reflects what they actually do, right? Okay,
Yes,
so
they
that
do. They're much affordable.
mm-hmm. Okay, that's good. So that's great, no? That's great example of a brand that lives up to what it promises, right, to its customers. So that's great to hear. So now I'll give the floor to Miss March to share an example from the Philippines through IM Consulting. Miss March?
Okay, so I think you can see our logo, I dash M Consulting with bold letters as I dash M. So our mission, really our main mission, since we are also into sustainability, so it is to enable the carbonization of aviation and logistic industry. And our visual identity is like, a bold blue green, because when you talk about sustainability, you're linking it to the color of, linking it to green color. And in terms of, how we design I am consulting, it reflects confidence and very strategic. And in terms of our voice, so we want that in terms of our service to the clients, we are not, offering just bits and pieces of on how to decarbonize, but we are making sure that we are providing them like the holistic approach. It's impact driven, of course. It's not only in terms of profit, but since we are decarbonizing, we are also helping the companies contribute to save Mother Earth. And of course, in terms of our services, one of our voice is also sustainability. So whether we are, giving like, strategic framework, process improvements or project management, we make sure that we help them implement solutions that are sustainable in nature. And then value proposition, as I mentioned earlier, end to end decarbonization and approach. And just to share with you, our tagline is, we are your innovation and sustainability partner. That's why if you link end to end to sustainability, so that's why we our approach is end-to-end decarbonization approach. And in terms of target audience clarity, um, so we wanted that the aviation and logistic industry be sustainable, and meaning sustainable. So in terms of all their decarbonization initiatives, uh, it's not just a one-time thing, but we want to make sure that when they do their decarbonization approach, they can stand alone after we leave them, or after the consulting services are done. So yeah, that's it for I am consulting. And just to give you an example, so all follows in terms of the branding, whether you are, posting in social media, like for example, LinkedIn page, Facebook page, we still what they call this, maintain our identity, which is, like for example, in the our website, you can also see the colors in blue green. In terms of the presentation, proposal, and calling cards, so we still maintain that the blue green, how we use I am consulting, which is I-M is still in bold font. The photo in the top person is wherein we present in the it's a how do you call it, will be we present in the ecothon. So we use that kind of presentation. We use the our logo. Then in terms also of the proposal, you can everywhere in the proposal you can see the logo. You can see the we use the same color, like the blue green. In terms of our calling card, same. So you need to to establish really your identity. You need to follow the same format, the same color on how you use your logo. So yeah, I think that's it. Will be for the LinkedIn Facebook page. I think I also mentioned that. That's it.
Yeah, thank you, Miss March. So, essentially, again, remember, so when you try to build your brand identity, if you don't have already, then it's best if you have variations for your logo. It can be a dark or light background, no, or at the maximum three brand colors, because it would really complicate things. If it's more than that, and then two fonts maximum, because again, two fonts, because for the title and usually the the body or the text, so that keep it formal and also to not overcomplicate things. A tagline would be best, because let's say for example, what's the tagline for some famous brands? You always remember that, right? Like be different, or for example for Coca-Cola, I think they have open happiness. So you can always remember it if you have a tagline. And then Ms. Mar shared a while ago, and also for the example that I shared for Africa, the mission statement. You must be very clear what your company stands beyond the profit, because everybody as a business needs to earn, right? But beyond that, what are you? Elevator pitch, and also brand voice guide. So no worries, we'll share more examples about this one. It's just that to help you create a brand kit, because this is essential um, if you wanted, as you mentioned, to grow your business through your brand. Sorry. So logo variations, as you can see for Coca-Cola, they have variations for a dark background or a light background. The same goes with I am consulting. So we have this. If you have a dark background, but if you have a light background, we also have this. For Ato Ani, this is our another social enterprise. So that's how we have it. Even for Vodacom, one of your top two most valuable brands in Africa. So, in your case, if you have a logo, go beyond at least two variations for a white and dark background. Then brand colors is very essential because you might say that, oh, your color is blue, but what kind of blue? So you must be very particular about, usually it's the hex colors. So if you're using Canva, this presentation is all in Canva, then they would naturally ask you for a hex color. So you must be able to really specify it. What kind of red, what kind of black, for example, for Coca-Cola, or what kind of white. So these are three, you can see the black in their logo, but then in their writings and their marketing materials, you can see it. So you must specify it once you create your brand kit. All right. So let me know if there are questions as we go along. So tagline. I mentioned that tagline is very important because it lets even if probably they don't remember the brand, but they remember the tagline, and your tagline is associated with your brand, then it really creates growth as well for your brand. So back in 2020, let's start with um 2019, there's Open Happiness, but in 2016 there's Taste the Filling. In 2021 there's Real Magic, right? So sometimes brands they change taglines, but there are some brands who you retain their taglines. But for the case of Coca-Cola, I think they usually change if it usually they relate it to the campaign that they have. But let me know if you know any brands that you like, whom you know so much, whom you like the tagline. So anyone from the group who would like to share about a brand that they like or love, and what's their tagline? Anyone from the team? Anyone from the Zoom? Yes, Alexander.
Yes, I think Nike says just do it. Yeah, Nike
Yes,
says
just
just
do
do
it.
it. I think
Agree.
used to say, I don't.
Yeah, and thank you for sharing, Alexander. And what's interesting about Nike is that Just Do It was their marketing campaign before, but because it was really, very successful, it became their tagline. And until now, it's Just Do It. If you say Just Do It, you would immediately, remember, that's a check mark. That's Nike. That's Nike, right? So, nice is so you have the tagline mission statement. So for Coca-Cola, for them they wanted to refresh the world in mind, body and spirit because they are more than um a soda company. They do have other beverage brands as well. But what they wanted to like tell their audience is that they wanted to inspire moments of optimism and happiness, right? So if you drink Coca-Cola, do you feel that it adds up to your dining experience? I don't know. I know it's unhealthy, but for others, sometimes they can't live without a soda or Coca-Cola. We have a like boss before that is really a fan of this one when we were still in corporate. So that's our mission statement. I think for some that they can kind of relate to that. Now, so you have your logo variations, you have your tagline to think about. Another thing is that you have your mission to think about as well. Then if somebody asks you about your brand, you must have a ready elevator pitch. From the name itself, elevator, it's because, for example, if you are in an elevator with a person, so the elevator is usually 1 to 2 minutes max for that. If it's too long, probably 3 minutes, but it's not more than, like, typically it's not more than 2 minutes. So it's a short pitch about your product or service or about your company. So if you can encapsulate what you can offer, what is your value proposition to that particular person who is asking what you do, then I think you can, use it in a lot of instances, right? So for the case of Coca-Cola, they are the world's leading total beverage company, which they are, right? So they tell immediately what they are, and you can kind of reflect to that. Refreshing customers with over 200 brands, which very interesting. So as I mentioned, they're not only into sodas, water, they also into water and tea. And of 200 plus countries. So when you do an elevator pitch, you must be able to, immediately tell how are you different from the others, or what's your edge essentially. But at the same time, you must be able to let your that audience understand what your product or service or company is about in layman's term. Okay. So next, brand voice. So brand voice guide, of course, there are some authentically uplifting, confident, clear. Usually this is what the brand of Coca-Cola reflects. So in your case, think about what your brand voice is. Are you playful, or would you be more professional? So that totally depends upon the product or service that you're offering. If you're offering to individual customers that are playful, then you might need to adapt to that, right? And if you are catering to B2B customers or the corporates, then you might need to be a bit more formal. So those things. And then, so how do you usually, these are some examples of how Coca-Cola is applying it to their brand voice to their social media campaigns, right? So hashtag, share a Coke, high energy, optimistic. Okay. And for customer service, they tend to be more polite, empathetic. And then in their marketing materials, they're focused on feelings, experiences, because they are individual customers. They tend to be more emotional. If your customers are corporates like us, we tend to be more objective in a way. There's less of emotions. Okay. So, yeah, let me just finish this before I'll ask the group. So, these are some, because we're into digital marketing, right? Or digital, because it's more cost effective, especially if we're starting out, or even if you're big already. So, we're using Canva, as our presentation is using Canva. Let me know if you can have a raise of hands who is using Canva for their presentations. I don't know if so. Yeah, so there's a lot who are using Canva for their presentations. So for those, okay. So thanks, Alexander. So I guess because it's not only Canva, there are also other tools, but what we recommend is Canva because it's um friendly, it's customer friendly, it's easy to use. There's colors if you do want to have different that color palette that you have for your brand. But if you wanted to maintain there's a free version of Notion where you essentially this is a notebook, right? This is a database where you can put all elements about your brand kit, repository. Essentially, Notion is a database repository of everything that you have. Um, if you can't have it. So Canva is for presentations and where you can create your logos or marketing copies, proposals, all our proposals or images and postings, we usually use Canva. And you can also have Google Fonts, but it's also in Canva as well. But if you are more particular, you can also use Google Fonts, right? So um, for me, Canva and the Notion for the database will be good enough already, right? Because there are Canva has a lot of other apps connected to it. If you explore, they even have an AI you know AI what do you call this, additional feature where you can just type a few words like similar to ChatGPT, and it will reflect already what somehow it gives you options on what you want out of a post, for example. So kind of explore it in Canva. All right. So next, so again, what you need to remember is that um when you create your brand identity, the reason why you're creating your brand identity or brand kit is that you wanted to have consistency, because most businesses they suffer because you don't have similar colors. For example, Miss Marsh here a while ago, we reflect the same set of theme or um, colors, not only colors, but also the manner in which we create marketing copies or marketing materials to create consistency. So avoid different logos, avoid different colors, definitely, because this weakens trust and this confuses your customers. Okay, so any questions before we move on to digital marketing tools? Any questions about brand identity? I hope you've learned something and you can, try, if you haven't already, try to identify those branding kit elements and also brand identity elements already. Okay, none. Okay, let's continue. So next, of course, for in terms of digital marketing tools, what you need to remember is that your digital strategy must match infrastructure. So what does it mean, right? For the global south, mostly they're mobile first. You usually are in your phone, essentially, or you use WhatsApp. You use WhatsApp to communicate with other nations, and then you can have WhatsApp e-commerce. Essentially, you can pay via WhatsApp. Can put product catalog in WhatsApp, right? Because it's easier to do that. But there are also, of course, marketplaces, right? There's Amazon, the famous one, and then in our case in the Philippines we have Lazada and we have Shopee, and most of us are into Facebook. At least for the a bit older generation, the younger generation is into Instagram. So depending on who your customers are, you must identify which platform they are mostly present. And there's TikTok, for entertainment. And usually I find myself um, uh, being drawn a lot to purchasing something when I'm on TikTok because I get to see it. Okay. So any thoughts on digital marketing? How is it in Africa? So what is like a famous platform in your end? How do you usually do it? Or like Shisomo, you want to share something? Anyone? Okay. All right. So probably we can have it oh, Samuel or Alexander. Yes. Samuel, let's Samuel. Sure. Feel free to share.
No, like in our context, I would say more especially there's been Facebook for a long period of
Mm-hmm.
time, but it is
Mm-hmm.
now that WhatsApp is at least coming up. But I would say Instagram not much because it is
Mm.
usually people don't use it for interaction and whatsoever, but for business purposes,
Mm.
I'd say still more Facebook and the WhatsApp.
Agree.
There's some more idea.
Agree. So I think thank you for sharing, Samuel. Alexander, you want to add because you've raised your hand a while ago.
It's the same actually. Facebook actually has been
Yeah,
there
Facebook.
actually for so long. Of course, what you said also is right. There is this actual generation gap actually. The new generation is not much into Facebook. Also, they are using TikTok and they like Instagram. Well, of course, I've also seen a growing trend using even LinkedIn now. People have also
Yes,
adopted
LinkedIn.
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 Yeah,
The-
yeah, LinkedIn. Yeah.
Okay.
So these ones actually mostly that way.
Agree. So for LinkedIn, it's really helpful, especially if your target audience are more B2B. We usually have engagement in LinkedIn more than Facebook because our services at IAM Consulting tends to be, more for the corporates. So we don't get like any engagement or limited engagement in Facebook. So again, it totally depends upon what your product or service is. In your case, we're similar. Most of the people are in Facebook. And Instagram, these are more for influencers and for those let's say fashion related content and also items, so some may have been there. So identify, play around with platforms which works best for you. You can focus in probably two platforms at a time and see and later because if you have limited resources in terms of manpower as well in your time, then you can just focus on two which will make the most engagement. Don't stretch yourself to a lot of other platforms which might not work for you, but you can experiment in this. No, if you feel that a particular platform doesn't really provide you much engagement or conversion into having more clients, then it's okay to let go with it. No, focus on a few that will gain more followers for you. And sometimes the followers doesn't even reflect, right? Sometimes we have, for example, in Atoani, we have limited followers, but we see some conversions because they've seen our website and they book an appointment with us to, like get a sample for the products that we offer. So usually that's it. So it totally depends upon who your customers are. So first identify they are. So now, talking about social media, of course, analytics is really important. So there are different, what do you call this, metrics you have reached. That means it's not only the ones that you reach, but these are unique users that come across your post. Engagement rate. This can be through likes, through shares, through comments, and saves. So it's not enough that they've seen your post. They also need to, like have an interaction with it. Okay, so there's only 15 minutes. I'll quickly run through this one. Click through rate and then conversion rate. Okay, so for example, for Ato Ani, so you can usually, this is in LinkedIn, so you can see here the views that we've got, the search appearances when they search about our company, the number of followers that has increased for the last 7 days, the impressions, right? So it's best, and also per post you can see the impressions that you get out from it, the engagement rate, what is in percentage, click through rate, meaning if they click on an item, click on a post because they've seen it, apart from actually they clicked on it because they're interested to know more about it. So those things you have to check out, so for case of Facebook, if you're into Facebook, because you mentioned Facebook, it's also famous there. Then of course the dashboards, you can see the number of views. They can even have it by content type, in terms of followers or non-followers. So you might have non-follower viewers, and then the engagement, right? The interactions, the reactions, is it through link or photo? Because this can give you an idea on what type of content to post later on. We can see that they are more engaged when there are links that are shared. So usually link to our website. So I think we will post more of this type of content. So it's important that you just don't post whatever post. Try to check your analytics as well, so that you can increase your engagement, and it's more cost effective for you. But at the end of the day, what's important is the conversion. I see a lot of those that have really high engagement in their post, but sometimes they don't convert to sales. So the thing that you're doing marketing is, apart from awareness, is to really generate sales. Okay, so that's the end goal. So again, depending on your type of product or service that you offer, storytelling typically converts better than technical post. But at I Am Consulting, we do have technical posts as well, because we're more B2B. So because data supports credibility, but how you are telling it, because we tend to are naturally drawn to storytelling. Okay, so digital tools. Okay, another set of digital tools you can use. So if design, we've shared about Canva already. So if you're doing scheduling for your posting, of course, Meta is already there. You can do schedule posting. So if you can just create it in one day, then post it on an intervals, So it's easier, right? At this time. Analytics, of course, I shared to you a screenshot of the analytics that we have for Ato Ani. So you can view it there. It can help guide you on what type of content to post. So if you wanted to connect to your customers, there's HubSpot. There's a free version of HubSpot. So this is more for customer relationship management. And then if you wanted to do email marketing, because for corporate customers, they're usually it's more effective, email marketing. So for marketing funnels, then you can use MailChimp. And but for if you have a website, for example, there's Wix, there's GoDaddy, there's Shop what's that? Shopify. Is it Shopify? So they can actually have services or add-ons that are into email marketing. If you can just have a free or like limited, it's a really less costly landing page to generate leads, customer leads, then you can use card, So these options, tools, you can explore. Okay, because we're just putting out there because of limited time. Hopefully, if it's okay to extend a few more minutes just to finish this off. Okay, so the last topic is about customer acquisition funnel. So we've learned about brand identity, we've learned about some digital tools, how you can leverage social media, and then try to be more strategic in what you post to lead to conversion, not only engagement. Um, so customer acquisition strategy usually starts with awareness, and everything that we've discussed so far is in the awareness stage, right? But most companies, they actually stop in awareness, but you should not just stop in awareness. You must need to do consideration, inform them, and of course convert them into customers. Then if they are already your customers, engage them. Okay. So Miss March will share, Miss, if you can share more about what we do at I Am Consulting in terms of this one. Yes, Miss March, you're on mute. Sorry.
Sorry for that. Sorry for that. Okay, so the for marketing funnel of I am consulting, for the attract portion, so we create awareness by whenever we attend conferences or events, so we make it a point that we have really a takeaway for that event and conferences. So what makes it educational is that can you show the sample, Wilby, for this one for the awareness? You're on mute, Wilby. So we are posting an article in our both our FB page and LinkedIn page. So as you can see, you in the Philippine Startup Week last 2025, we shared our key insights here. So um since the I think the theme of the Philippine Startup Week is all about AI, robotics, and renewable energy. So we put here the key insights so that others who will view our FB page or I am consulting can also have some takeaway. Maybe they can also use this key insights in their own startups or businesses. So yeah. Then for the next one, can you share the slides? Okay. So for the to inform them, so we have a free resource. Can you elaborate this portion, Wilby?
Is
You're
in
on mute.
relation, yeah, for example, we usually like do free exploratory meetings with them to understand their needs. Other than that, we also like, engage with um like companies, for example, as experts who can share like free resource, free
Yeah.
resource meaning free consultation with them
Yes.
initially, and then if they wanted to go in depth, then that's the time that we can, charge it for
we
them.
we
But
even we even have like conducted just a free training wherein we coordinate with one of the chamber of commerce to conduct that. So it's free, and but whenever it's a free resource, we also make it a point that we did our best in terms of sharing our knowledge. So yeah, we make sure that they have like key insights also, and they have takeaway after that, although it's it's just giving free trainings or free consultation. Okay, then for conversion, we usually use WhatsApp. Our major client, we are using WhatsApps in terms of our communication channel. We also use email for some of the proposals that we made. And then we have also meeting consultation offer. We have that in our website. And then for engagement, once we already have the client or our customer, of course, in our exploratory meeting or initial meeting with them, we already established we also already saw the needs of our client. So whenever, for example, we are on the first meeting, we just offered them, for example, process improvement, but when we see that there's still opportunity to offer other services, so we make it as a service bundle, so that in terms of the what do you call this, in terms, it's actually cost saving in terms of our customer or clients, because it's much cheaper when they get it as a bundle. And also on our end, of course, as providing the services, um we can, what do you call this, we can give the requirements of the client. I mean, we can help them to really uh, operate efficiently. So yeah, that's it for the marketing funnel for IM Consulting. Do you have any questions for that?
Okay, so let's continue and then we can probably have more questions towards the end because I know we're limited in time. Sorry about that. So since most of you are probably you're in the social impact space, um also have an impact funnel. So it's all starts with awareness, yes, but then interest and trust. Trust is important. We've mentioned trust earlier, right? And of course, is always conversion and retention. But beyond that, it must all stand to your advocacy. So again, don't stop on awareness just by posting. As shared by Miss Marj earlier with IM Consulting, this is what we do with IM Consulting. At least for the marketing funnel and now for impact funnel because Ato Ani is more in the impact space, but also um, IM Consulting is also in the impact space because of the carbonization. But for awareness, we do our website, we join forums, we have explainer materials for our services. Usually, our trust is based on the impact metrics that we share, probably not in our website, but not in the postings, and also as we discuss with our clients and conversions via discovery calls. So that is similar to IM Consulting. Retention is via updates with these customers and some event support. And advocacy, we usually have joint projects and campaigns with Ms. Marsh mentioned about European Chamber of Commerce or Chamber of Commerce that we engage with. So we do have joint projects with them. So that's how you can approach it, whether it's a marketing funnel or an impact funnel. But in your case, try to develop something for your startup. No, so you have brand kit already. You have like in the tools that we've mentioned, you can explore that. And then there's this marketing funnel or impact funnel. Okay, so I just wanted to highlight a few more about retention strategy because this is really important. Because it's very costly to actually introduce more clients rather than retaining your existing clients, right? So that's why it's really important. So you can have customer newsletters for those that are, in our website and they sign up to our newsletter. We don't well, it's not regular that we post newsletters, but it's important if you do have the time and if it makes sense for you, you can do a regular newsletter updates or can be quarterly, so that to for your customers to know what are your updates or probably you have more additional services that you can offer. You can also check out behind the scenes content, okay? Because sometimes it's more engaging, especially if you're into the B2C market, individual customers, and you can probably share some loyalty incentives like discounts for those who can refer you to other clients or your existing loyal customers. Similar to how Starbucks is in terms of their, rewards app, right? Where you can earn stars and then you can get a free drink out of how many stars. And then community building. In our case at Ato Ani, it's about community building with our farmers. For IM Consulting, it's about, engaging with these corporate customers through events, which is usually attended by Miss Marj. So these things. Retention is really important. Um, I cannot overemphasize that. So we're down to the end. I hope we still have the time. This time it's really more engaging right now. So we want everyone to actually, just a short activity, two activities. First is define your brand core. So I'll give you probably just a minute because we have limited time. But try to think about, just share. It can be that you don't write it, just make it impromptu. First, if anyone can share why their venture exists. So my venture exists to, what is your, why do you exist? What's your mission? Who do you serve? What do you transform? What's your promise? Remember the brand identity discussion earlier? And how are you different? What's your value proposition? Okay, so if you can take a screenshot, and then I'll stop my share so that I can watch everybody's face. If you can open your camera, it would be really great. Yeah, and anyone who can share, probably one at a time. Let's
طبعا
take your startup as an example.
Mm-hmm.
اياه
Yes, who is it?
بزرق
Bakar? Bakar,
فلك
yes.
داخل في بعضها
Hello, yes.
ايوه
Big, yes. Yes. So let's start.
قبل
Your
الفندم
venture exists to, what's
يلا
your
تسلم
mission?
قستير قبل الفندم
Yeah, you're audible.
يلا شكرا
Okay, so what's your startup's name? Yes. Oh, Bakar? Baker. So how do I
Pronounce.
pronounce your name?
وات
Okay. Yes, I can hear you. Yes. So I'll put it in the chat box, the questions, at least for this one. We are different. Because if you can share first, what is your startup's name? Okay. Or anyone who would like, I don't know, probably internet connection. This is more of sharing. Or anyone who would like to share. Samuel, Chisomo, Prince, Gerald, John, Crispine, Moses, Ida. I think Moses, Ida, and I don't know if Joseph is here. They are my mentees. Yes, Samuel.
Okay, so Samuel Pande, I'm into research in consultancy, development economist.
Mm,
So as much as we're just in a startup, but the brand name is Sophie's Consultancy.
mm-hmm.
So we are focusing on research, and policy.
Okay.
So our tagline say we believe it matters. Say the work that we're doing, I believe in it that it will have an impact. Yeah. So briefly, I would say that
Okay. And who do you serve?
we say for all the people who want to have research done. So it's more of economic research. So it's usually that field. Yes.
Okay. And then like, how do you help them? What's your promise to them?
Our promise is to do quality research for them that is meaningful for them to implement various policies that they want to undertake.
Mm.
Okay. That's nice. And you are different? How are you different from your competitors?
Yeah, different because we do quality work, we check it thoroughly, and we do thorough results that are very meaningful. We believe that the work that we do is a bit different from how others do it because of the much effort that we put into it.
Okay, thank you for sharing, Samuel. So, this exercise, helps you understand better what your organization is, because later on when you create marketing materials, or if you will be creating your branding identity kit, branding kit with all the logo, marketing materials, those guidelines, knowing why your venture exists, who you serve, what transformation do you provide them, how are you different from the others, will guide you essentially in all the postings that you will be creating later on. So there's still, I think, if it's okay, let's have one more startup, then we proceed with activity 2. One more startup would like to share. Yes, Ida. Yeah, Ida is my mentee. I think we just have a first sessions last week. Ida, yes.
Uh, Greetings to everyone and good morning to you. Oh, I switched on the camera. All right. So, the name of my business that I started, I decided to name it Winner's Treats.
Mm-hmm.
So the Winner's Treats, the winner is coming from my surname, Kawina. So the Winner's Treats, I thought it wise to put it like that. Yes. And then the tagline is freshness lives here. I don't know if it's the best one or not. I don't know, but I just thought of putting it like that to say freshness lives here because I
Yes,
bake
agree.
cupcakes, cake, and everything. So I'm into bakery business. So that's the tagline. And then for the
Mm-hmm.
people that I serve, because
Mm-hmm.
I'm at the University of Zambia and the population is big. It it has got over 20,000
Mm-hmm.
students.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the target market. That's my target market.
Mm-hmm.
And those are the people that I'm targeting to be selling my goods to. Yes.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
And how are you different from the others? Like, if
So how
somebody
I'm different.
ask you, how are you different?
Okay. So when it comes to delivery, I ensure that I deliver on time. And then
Mm-hmm.
also delivery, I make sure I deliver on time. And then also I make it clear to my customers to say when it comes to
Mm-hmm.
me, it's about quality and not
Mm-hmm.
quantity. So
Oh, okay.
quality, I ensure that I deliver quality and also deliver on
Mm-hmm.
time, and also try by all means to ensure that what I'm delivering is attractive. I don't know how else, and also customer relation, how I relate with my customers. It's one thing
Mm-hmm.
that I want to make me be different from my other competitors. How I relate with my customers, yes. So that's
Okay.
how I think I'm different,
Yeah.
yes, right now.
Thank you for sharing, Ida. Yeah, it's really important that you know how you are different from your competitors, right? Because that's how you can win and grow out or outgrow them. So I think thanks for sharing, Ida. And Conrad, you're raising your hand. Probably want to share. Then I'll read the one in the chat box and we'll proceed with activity 2.
Yes, I would love to share.
Ah, Saiben. Okay. Sorry. Okay. Saiben or
Okay,
Conrad? What want to Okay, Saiben, go.
thank you. All right. The name of my startup or civil society organization is a
Mm-hmm.
Community One Health Initiative.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, abbreviated as COHIN for short.
Mm-hmm.
So the aim of the venture is to fight against antimicrobial resistance
Mm-hmm.
in yeah. First of all, in the locality where I did my university studies, that
Mm-hmm.
is in Boya, and
Mm-hmm.
eventually aiming to expand to
Mm-hmm.
the wider range of my country, which is Cameroon.
Mm-hmm.
So, whom we expect to serve is the general community. So,
Mm-hmm.
we have structured it into
Mm-hmm.
we need to do education awareness raising in schools, in
Mm-hmm.
churches, and in community groups.
Okay.
Okay.
And what's your promise to them? How do you transform their lives, or like what's your promise to them?
Okay, our promise to them is to bring them top tier knowledge, like to the basic levels, uh, and in terms of awareness to what concerns antimicrobial resistance and how they can, like, to have the awareness first, and then to give them practical, holistic solutions, how to not to even get infections in the first place, not even using antibiotics commonly as such, and then with that we hope to have a good mitigation.
Okay, that's great. And then how are you different from the others?
Okay, Cohen is different from the others because so far I know we are the only civil society organization who have the ambition or who dare to engage directly with the community to educate them to transform laboratory data or public health data into real community concrete actionable solutions to fight
Yeah.
against antimicrobial resistance.
Yeah, I think that's very tough, right? Especially if you dealing with community, and also great work. Thank you, Simon, for sharing. Yes, Miss
Thank you.
March mentioned, yeah, Conrad, and then probably Miss March can share the ones in the chat. Conrad, yes,
Yeah,
it's your
Conrad,
turn.
it's your turn. You are on mute.
You mute, or if you can open your camera, it would be great. Later in picture, during the picture taking, once we're done, then please do open your camera. Yes, Conrad, Miss March. Or you want
Yeah.
to share in the ones in the chat box while waiting?
Conrad, are you okay to share now? You're on mute. Maybe you're already talking.
No. Okay.
Okay. We'll read first the input of Moses. So Moses organization name is Green Team. So they exist to bring mindset change to their community. I think, yeah, that's good. That's all where it starts, mindset. And they serve kids, youth, and adults as well, and they want to transform the young generation to think differently and act differently when it comes to the environment. And yeah, that is the transformation. They want to transform the young generation, and for their tagline is start today, so
Great.
not postponing it. Okay,
Agree.
that's great. And can you type here, Moses? How can you differentiate your green team from others who are also offering the same, might be offering the same services?
Yeah. And also while waiting, we can probably share Chisomo's. I think Miss Chisomo posted something, Miss March, in the chat about
Yes,
her
yes, I
company.
saw it.
Okay.
But let's just wait for Moses. He'll type what makes their company different from others. Service from other who are also potentially have the same kind of services that they're offering.
Yeah.
We'll wait
Okay.
for you, Moses. But let me read Chisomo message. So the company name is Chen Electrical Power Solutions. So you provide electrical installation services and supply electric material, both for hydro and solar energy. Wow, that's nice.
Yeah.
So yeah, Chisomo,
Share
since you
more.
are already there, can you also, like, you transform what? Your company transform,
What's your promise to
uh
them?
yeah.
Or how are you different?
Okay. Uh, I'm different from other companies, from other services, because I have a license. I also provide the
Mm.
services, the domestic, to the customer's expectation.
Mm.
their quality, the services, their quality, they comply with the regulations.
Mm-hmm.
Electrical, we use regulations in whatsoever you're doing. If it's a household
Mm-hmm.
installation, be and it comply with the standards. So it's like licensed, um, which means that like in Malawi Energy Regulatory Authority, I'm authorized with that. I have that license. So I'm different from others because some they provide services, but they don't have that license to comply with the
Mm.
regulations. So they may
Agree.
provide the service, but when to call the like ESCOM, the electricity supply to
Mm-hmm.
connect their installations, they will have difficult. They will look for someone who has a license
Mm-hmm.
on that. So I'm different. I'm branding my company by having a work permit. I'm also providing electrical services to which comply with the electrical regulations.
Yeah. I think that's great. Because of course, we echo the same thing. We're into decarbonization, so that's why it's very interesting that you're working into solar and also hydropower there in Africa, and the regulations I think is really important, especially right now. So thank you for sharing, Chisomo. So I'll share the second activity, then have the others who weren't able to speak yet. Probably share more about this one, or how do you plan? Because this can be a plan. So you've already identified all those things of brand identity, mission, who you serve, how are you different. Now, the next thing that you need to do is design a marketing funnel. That means, where do you think the customers discover you, right? Because you already know who you serve, right? And what builds their trust. Remember when we talk about trust a while ago? What converts them? How do you think they will buy from your product? Apart from saying that's how you were different, and how do you retain them? So I'll also type it in the chat box so you have a view of this, and I'll share my screen. So for those who have not, shared yet, perhaps you can share, or for those who have shared already, feel free to share add-ons, no? Yes, I'll type. Hold on. Yeah, anyone? First, it's about creating your mini marketing funnel where the
Uh,
customers.
will
Yes,
be.
Miss March.
Maybe before we do that, Conrad is already here.
Oh, Conrad, yes. Can you share about the first one?
Maybe he's having problems with
Yeah,
internet.
internet. Okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
just let us know, Conrad, if your internet is already okay. Oh, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I think it's internet because he's not anymore again in Zoom.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's continue with the second activity.
Yeah. Anyone who would like to share, or probably will call names if it's okay. If nobody will volunteer, Chisomo, you're opening your camera. Do you want to share?
No.
No? Okay.
Okay.
All right. You can also type it. So anyone, Gerald, John, Ida. Okay, none. Oh, okay, Moses. We offer entrepreneurship skills to our clients because we believe. Oh, okay, this is Miss March. I think this is the answer to your question a while ago. Yeah,
How, yeah, how is
and
their
then.
company different?
Mm-mm.
So for Moses company, they offer entrepreneurship skills to their clients because they believe this is the way to fight climate change. So, and those sources require finance. So we try as much as possible to be entrepreneurs and venture into smart agriculture. Okay, yeah,
Yes,
that's
that's great to hear, Moses. We're also into agriculture. So, for example, let's see if we can collaborate on agriculture. But we are here in Southeast Asia still. Okay, yeah. Anyone? So I guess, well, the second activity will take a lot of, um like brainstorming. So we totally understand if you can't, share about it as of this moment, but feel free. I'll share the slides, try to think about this marketing funnel, and then we'll try to close this session already, but hopefully can open your mics during the end so that we can take a picture. So again, once you have identified these things, I've heard a lot of your really good startups from different sectors, no, not only in agri, baked goods. Then you also have like in the healthcare, you also have in energy sector, so quite varied. So once you have defined your brand core, design a marketing funnel, identify these things, where customers discover you, what builds your trust, what converts them, how do you retain them, and it would help you identify some action items and what you do with marketing. Now, to end, I just wanted to highlight that a while ago, because of based on our activity, you have a clear identity of who you are, what your startup is about, who you serve, how are you different. Then what you need to do next is be consistent in the content that you share, aligned with this identity that you have created for your startup, and then create a structured funnel. Okay, so the activity two will help you that how to retain them, identify, and the marketing funnel that we shared earlier, and also the impact funnel. It will help you create a structured mechanism in which you generate clients or obtain clients. And then okay, so as an action plan for like for 1 month, 4 weeks, first create the brand kit if you haven't had already. Then optimize your social profiles, select at least two platforms where your audience are typically are. Then create a lead magnet. It can be like a free resource, or it can be like storytelling, farmer stories. Identify, you can experiment in this one. What what entices or attracts your customers to be drawn to you and avail your product and service. And then launch a simple funnel, right? In our case, we have this in our website, exploratory meetings. For Atoani, for example, usually they see that they've seen our articles in our website, or they've seen us in LinkedIn, etc., or in an article posted by a news site. Then they directed to our website, and then they set a schedule for an exploratory meeting for export of a particular product. So those things identified. So you have 4 weeks to actually do this. If you want to make this training actionable, then I would want to leave this before we end. Just always remember that impact without visibility, meaning without marketing, it limits how you scale. So you are clear already what your brand represents. Then when you market, market with purpose, not just market whatever, check out your analytics, check out where your audience typically are, and build systems. Build systems. I've shared to you like tools, Mailchimp, Card, Canva. Those are tools, AI, which you can leverage, to actually create content and systems. And that wouldn't really take up much of your time, because time is a limited resource and it's very valuable. So, I think that's it. So, thank you for sharing your time with us. But before we go, we hope that you can open your camera. If you can open your camera so that we can, take a picture. We'll probably take a picture of everyone. Yeah, we'll post it if it's okay. We're gonna, blur your names, but we're gonna post it in our socials as well. Okay,
How about the
everyone.
others?
Yeah, how about the others? Hello, hi. Okay. So I guess that's it. Okay. The more others are also
Okay, that's good. Thank you
yeah,
very much. Thank you very much for opening your
opening your
camera,
camera. Okay,
even
so I'll
just
go.
for a second.
Okay, well, can you reopen your camera, because I'll still take a screenshot.
Yeah. Ida,
Samuel,
Samuel,
Gisamo, Ida. Sorry, if you
Zen,
can open your
Chisamo.
camera. Okay. All right. One, two,
Just
three. Smile. Okay. Thank you so much, everyone, and hope you've learned
yeah,
something from us. Thank you. Bye,
yeah.
everyone.
Thank you very
Bye.
much.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Thank you,
Bye.
Alexander.
Thank you, Alexander, for
Thank
the
you.
opportunity.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Bye.